Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints now have formally requested interviews with Byron Leftwich and Aaron Glenn. Of course, Glenn is former Saints assistant, now the defensive coordinator in Detroit, and Byron Leftwich is the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. Ian Rappaport was on the NFL Network and gave this update on the Saints search here just about an hour ago.
I would say it's pretty widely believed that Dennis Allen has probably the best shot at that job, the respected defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints for so many years, who kept him in so many games this year and has been a head coach candidate in his own right. Certainly, he is more than ready to run a team again after a tough stint with the Oakland Raiders. They're going to do some interviews as well. Aaron Glenn and Byron Leftwich, two of the coaches they are expected to interview. That might not be all, but as of right now, those are the candidates, and we will see if they add some others. But again, I would say Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, has a very, very good shot at this job.
So, as we all know, Dennis Allen, the prohibitive favorite, and the news there is that Aaron Glenn, Byron Leftwich, the Saints have now formally requested interviews with those two. It's worth noting that every day as we move through this offseason, you're going to have more coaching vacancies filled because you're getting closer to the offseason programs, right? I mean, the Senior Bowl is this weekend, and then you're getting ready for the Combine and the draft, of course, free agency, and then the draft. So it's imperative that you get your organization pieced together, your coaching staff pieced together as soon as possible. The Saints are about 2 weeks behind on this whole process. So let's look at the candidates. By the way, of course, there are two hires that have been made today. The Broncos have hired Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator from Green Bay, and the Bears are set to hire Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator from the Colts. So that's two jobs now that reportedly have been filled. And that leaves candidates, a still large pool of candidates for a shrinking pool of jobs, which includes New Orleans. So let's talk about the two candidates that Rappaport mentioned there, Byron Leftwich and Aaron Glenn. Both are known to the Saints, to New Orleans. If Byron Leftwich is going to be the guy, then the Saints had better hurry up, because Jacksonville has already interviewed Byron Leftwich, and it's very likely, it's reported that they may want to talk to him again, and the Saints may not even get a chance to speak to him if he takes a job, maybe Jacksonville, before the Saints even have the opportunity for a formal interview. I have this incredible image of Byron Leftwich seared into my mind from when he was at Marshall, and his linemen were carrying him down the field. That's the makeup. That's the fortitude that most people are aware of when they think about Byron Leftwich. Just a total gamer, a guy who was a great college player, was a top 10 pick in the draft when he was taken by Jacksonville, 7th overall. Played 10 years in the NFL, did Byron Leftwich, at a variety of different stops. His last stop was in Pittsburgh. And he got into coaching in 2016 with Bruce Arians in Arizona as the quarterback's coach. Well, Bruce Arians left, and Byron Leftwich was retained. And then when Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator, was fired, Leftwich was promoted to offensive coordinator. So he started calling plays in Arizona. When Arians came back into coaching in Tampa Bay in 2019, he brought Leftwich with him, immediately made him the offensive coordinator in 2019. Here's where the very interesting tie to New Orleans comes. Of course, 2019 was the season when Jameis Winston threw for 5,100 yards. Now, there were the 30 interceptions as well, but Jameis Winston's 5,000-yard season came with Byron Leftwich calling the plays. So if the Saints are going to retain Jameis Winston, bringing in Byron Leftwich would make a lot of sense because those two have already worked together and worked in beautiful concert as they had the most productive season offensively in Tampa Bay history. I know the record and I know the interceptions. The hope is, as we all agree, that Jameis not asked to do as much, not asked to force as many footballs, better decision-making, you reduce some of the mistakes, okay? We all understand that's the hope, but you at least have that parallel with Leftwich and Jameis who have worked together on an offense. A year later, we know what happens. 2020, COVID, Jameis is in New Orleans, Byron Leftwich still the offensive coordinator in Tampa, enter Tom Brady, and they broke all the offensive records for yards and points that Jameis had set in 2019 with Leftwich calling the plays, with Tom Brady in 2020 with Leftwich calling the plays. So Byron Leftwich has had record-setting performances as a play caller in Tampa with both Jameis Winston and Tom Brady. He's got a Super Bowl under his belt, having won it a year ago in Tampa, so that's certainly the expectation. He knows what it's like to be a high draft pick. We saw that when he was taken 7th overall. There's a lot to like about Byron Leftwich. 42 years old, in an NFL that is putting so much value on young, up-and-coming offensive-minded coaches. If it's Sean McVay, if it's Kyle Shanahan, if it's Zach Taylor, Byron Leftwich thought to be maybe the next in that line of great young play callers that could take that next step of offensive football here in 2022 and beyond. So Leftwich is going to get an interview, as is Aaron Glenn. So Glenn's resume as a coach maybe doesn't pop as much as Leftwich's does. But there's a lot to like with Aaron Glenn also. Aaron Glenn went to Texas A&M, played 15 seasons in the NFL, including a season with New Orleans back in 2008. When Aaron Glenn's playing days ended, he didn't go straight into coaching. He went into the front office with the Jets and was in their area scouting department. So he was scouting college football players for the Jets at the beginning of his career. After that, he got into coaching as an assistant defensive backs coach, had a long stint with New Orleans as defensive backs coach from 2016 through 2020. And then, as we know, a year ago, when Dan Campbell became the head coach in Detroit, he brought Aaron Glenn with him to be his defensive coordinator. This was their first year, his first year as a defensive coordinator or a coordinator of any kind. It's not to say that you can't be a great head coach without lengthy coordinator experience. Aaron Glenn could be that. Leftwich is 42 years old. Aaron Glenn's 49 years old. Been around the NFL as a player and a coach much longer, but maybe not having reached the heights that Leftwich has just yet in his career. But a lot of familiarity with New Orleans, with the organization, with ownership, with structure management, all of that, having been here for the stint that he did as a player under Sean Payton and a coach under Sean Payton for 5 seasons from 2016 through 2020. So these are two potential candidates that are being formal, that have, according to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, have formally been requested for an interview by the New Orleans Saints. It is still believed that Dennis Allen is the front runner, and for all the reasons we've talked about prior, that makes a lot of sense. But you start to look, okay, if you go through the interview process and you come upon a candidate that just blows you away, who might that be and why? Well, you can't get that unless you go through this interview process, which is starting immediately for the Saints, and the first 2 names we've heard are Byron Leftwich and Aaron Glenn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.